guys, Lux Angus here. Naga bless, be the trials, be the force be upon you, and this is like the second part of my review of a walking with 4 months, longer than 4 months, with Naga Draco Amaymon, and I have felt like the last time it wasn't enough explainable, or like it wasn't enough explained in my last part, that I want to try to uncomplicatedly to shorten the whole sentence. I want to present the fruits of my labors walking with Naga Draco Amaymon. And well, like, I feel like there should be a second part, because the last time I clicked on play button and record button, like, you apparently we can tell that I was also like in this part tired and exhausted, like, and I couldn't think that much clearly. And well, for a time I reflected on these experiences, and I reflected all this association of Amaymon symbolism and energies, and like, for example, the maturity part of myself. It is also linked with the planet Saturn. Saturn, the dark planet, the like this planet Saturn on its own, on its old past histories and symbolism, is associated with old age, with illness, with wisdom, but also wisdom attained through hard labor, through hard destinies of faith, or like through hardships throughout one's life, but also like not only hardships, but also like spiritual endeavors in the sphere of Saturn that can also be perceived and gained in some kind of way wisdom and maturity in the forces of Saturn when you are getting in contact with Saturn. And when I'm thinking back to it, like, it did make sense that I became also more seriously, and in the zodiacal sign of Saturn is Capricorn and Aquarius. Aquarius is prone to know be more cold and logical, and Capricorn is prone to know be more focused on work, being focused on power, to achieving some kind of way power, Capricorn. And for some reason, for some time, I was naturally more like drawn upon the sign of Capricorn, and I was also like more drawn subconsciously to such persons, be it like in love interest, be it like in exchange with one another in some way or another. And I just think maybe it has to do like some lack, or some lack of imbalance thereof, because I myself, I'm like more a lofty, more a spiritual focused person in my life, and I go more in the realm of the spiritual reality instead of the material reality. And I know this is not a balanced living, it is not a balanced consciousness, and I want to have like a healthy relationship with also the earthly reality, also with the work reality. And well, like, Amaymon, I think on this aspect had understand this about myself, like I was more focused on a spiritual supernatural side of this red existence, and he showed me like more also like the darker other side, but also like the reality that this physical earth has, in correlation with money, correlation with seriousness about one exceeding fleeting life here on this earth. And well, of course, one can say like, I'm like a young dude, like 22 young years, but I must say, you can say like, if you are getting older, of course you get more mature. But I know other dudes or girls in my age that are still 14 years in the mind, or like more badly, like they are 30 and be in our biological scale, and 40 or even 60 in a mind scale, if I know what I mean, if I'm like measuring myself with other people my age. I don't want to say that like these guys don't know anything. Everybody knows something that I would never know, because I am not in their skin, I'm not in their reality. But you know what I mean, like from the maturity and the perceiving of reality, perceiving of certain things about oneself, about the things how the world runs sometimes. And everybody has this premonition of illusions, set up illusions, be it like vanity of oneself, be it like a pride, be it like all this stuff that I talk about, like pride, vanity, and perception, and like premonition of some things that like everybody is prone to like exaggerate or like undermine such things in an unrealistic matter. And this also get through this maturity process, like more and more popped with time walking with him. And it is really correlates logically through his like through his associations with such forces of darkness and Saturn. It makes sense. It makes sense. And also with death, darkness and death. And death, like not really like that you are physically dying, but I just say like the percentage is never like completely out of the way to die physically in this aspect. Like it can happen, but it's really unlikely to happen. If this happens, like there must be really something bigger going on in the background, if you know what I mean. When something like that happens, or like your own bearing unrecognized shadow or dark side of yourself has been so long ignored, and you just maybe to uninformation, or maybe like to some type of higher form of ignorance, have like pushed it away and ignored. In that way, like it's really fucking your life up, spiritually, mentally, physically, cursing oneself, and focusing on things that bring you nowhere, because you're not aware of your own faults, own shadow, and of such. And there, he like has desolated the barriers between my so-called conscious side, my light side, and the unconscious side, the shadow side. And somewhere or another, this bridge between these two became more whole, became more in agreement with one another, so to say, become more in agreement with one of another. And it wasn't anymore like this duality, and because of that I was also more in general aspect more concentrated, more focused than usually. I was no longer more in this internal fight, because I understand more and more my own unrecognized shadows and faults and failures and hardships that I went through because of this ignored aspect of myself, because of this unrecognized and unhid aspect of myself, that my conscious side consciously went into the dark side and perceived it and brought light into this situation and transformed it onto your whole consciousness. Because the consciousness then afterwards is never like purely white, it is like in this gray zone, in this twilight zone. I like to call it this way, the twilight zone, the zone in between is melted together, is perfectly balanced, so to say. And even though he's polarized more in the darkness, I say, in the end he brought me somewhere another in a balanced state in this way. And yeah, it was only possible because I didn't force my own so-called wants, the so-called goals too much into my spiritual practice. I am more devotional when it comes to my spiritual project. I'm more devotional, I'm more open to receive the entity's suggestions and helps. I'm just like in a sense, this OG is about go with the flow, and sometimes it is not that bad. Even more, sometimes like even better. Like it also wants from you some kind of professionalism, of course, but it is not, on my humble opinion, like that, like forced and you must do it in like every day, this strict format. No, there must be, okay, there must be a sustainable everyday amount of respect and devotion, emotionally, spiritually, materially, how good you can unto this practice. That is normal, yes. That you must have this in yourself to do this, and that such forces recognize from you this realism, this yes aspect to do this. If not, like if you don't have this devotion in you and don't have this emotion in you for devotion, at least you should have shown some kind of will, some kind you did your best when it comes to this practice. At least anything in that, like and consistency. And if you put this long and good enough up, there must and there will be showing some kind of results, some kind of transformation in yourself and outside of yourself. And yeah, guys, like of course, in the beginning stages, as I said, like there was, like, if you're calling an entity, there first you see not see, you feel an unseen presence, okay? Like this unseen presence is like for me the first level of manifestation of the spirit. But what I've perceived, like over the years when I practice this darker form of witchcraft or self-transformation, you will be more open to perceive also in the outer reality the manifestation of such entities, because these independent entities, they have so or so a presence in this reality, but like every man, every woman is like their own universe, and it depends also how much you spend their own energy in exchange with their energies, how strongly this other consciousness will manifest in yourself and out of yourself. And if this gets with time more and more strengthened, you will see, I promise, you will see with time some type of anomalies around you, some type of manifestation of this archetypal force that you are calling upon. And well, like for Amaymon, in my rights especially, strangely, it was not like, not really surprisingly, like he showed himself more like in this snake aspect, like a big black cobra, like nearly a fantasy tale, like nearly like something you read in some kind of fantasy book. And to be honest, like if you have go abroad the border of the so-called only physical perception, the so-called fantasy will be reality, because the consciousness exceeds this normal generalized perception of just perceiving the normal 5 elemental forces surrounding you, the more physical forces surrounding you that on its own are also only spiritual energies. And when you get attuned in the more higher frequencies and more perception in the higher frequency, of course, you will get also in contact with your own refined eyes, with the refined higher worlds out there, energies, entities. You will with time can see this, if of course invite this and want to see this, and if you have strengthened enough this bond with such forces. It is not an impossibility. It is rarely on my own account and experience possible and real, to also see physically in some kind of way, some strange kind of way, such manifestations of forces. And yeah, guys, this is like more elaborated what means in the aspect of maturity in this correlation with Saturn and Black Sun and the darkness of Amaymon, the self-transformation of him, walking with him, and perceiving realities, or like the world that we are living in, societally, and also above society. And yeah, guys, I hope you understand, and I think you will understand when I am speaking to the right kind of guys or girls before me. And we surely see us again. Lux Anguis out.